Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mr. Hino with Mr. Hino's Lego Robotics. And today's video is going to be for those of you that are coaching First Lego League and you are going to have tryouts. So I just had my first tryouts this week. And if you're teaching at a school and you have lots of kids interested in being on the First Lego League team, and you know that First Lego League has a 10-member limit, so you're going to have to figure out, okay, I have 30 kids that want, to be on the team. How do I narrow it down to 10, possibly less, depending on how many team members you want to hold? And so that my obvious thought was, okay, let's have tryouts. Let's get the best students to be on the team. And so I'm going to go over today just my criteria of what I'm looking for. What do I do in my tryouts to narrow down who am I going to pick? So here we go. Number one is you have to figure out what is it that you're looking for. When you're doing tryouts, you're going to be looking for what do you want in that first Lego League student. And so the first thing that comes to mind is some type of robot programming knowledge. Unless you're starting from bottom of the basics, you're just building up the team. You want somebody who has that mindset of sequencing, knowing, what goes where, the sequence of the robot's actions. And so that's the first thing I do is give them some type of robotic maneuvering that they need to program and figure out. And again, it's going to depend on the quality or, just how much does your students know? I mean, don't have them try out for things that they don't understand. So it might just be basic maneuvering. Okay, I want you to program the robot to go forward, make a left, have a medium motor pick up something. If your students are able to handle that. Obviously, if you're just starting off, do something a lot less where you're just looking to see if they can go forward, make turns, lefts, backwards, things that are just going to be up to their level programming wise. And then I would jump into what are you looking for, in your just philosophical ways. For me, I ask my students this first question. If Mr. Hino tells you that when we go to a competition and you represent our school, what does that mean to you? Because I've taken students on competitions where I wasn't thrilled the way our team came across to other teams. They came across as overconfident. They come across as being mean spirited. And that's something I don't want, to translate over as a representation of our school. And so that's the first thing I would ask is when you represent this school, what does that mean to you? And so I'm looking for answers like, if we're going to a competition and other teams see that we work hard, then they think our school works hard. When we go to competitions and we congratulate other teams, then they think that our school is, we love to cooperate, compete, but at the end of the day, we will shake their hands and go, great job. We want to come across as a school and as a team that loves competition, but if we lose, we will shake their hand, say, that was a great job. We love your robot. You know, we are in it for the fun. And that's what First Lego League has us do. And so I'm going to ask, questions that will involve their character like that. I will ask them why, if we go to a competition and you lose, how do you still feel good about yourself? That's another thing I want. I want, if our team loses, I want our kids to hold their head up high and say, that was amazing. And so I'm looking for that kind of answer. I had an amazing experience. That's how I can feel good about myself. I did the best that I could. Our robot got the most points we could, even though it doesn't match the other teams. I'm looking for that student who's just going to have a barrel of laughs, the most fun they can have, the best day ever, even if they lose. So I'm looking for those type students, not the ones that are going to go home and cry. I mean, they might be upset that they don't win, but they will get over it to the point where they can say, I did have an amazing time no matter what happened. And then I'm also looking for students that will be able to get along with other teammates. And so I'll ask them, problem solving questions like, you and another team member are having an issue about, the way the robot runs. They want to do this and you want to do something else. So I'm looking for that collaborative piece where the student can go, maybe we might be able to combine our ideas. Maybe I can get my idea across on this part, and maybe they can get their idea for something else. So I'm looking for that cooperative, where they can get along with each other, work out their differences, and not have somebody say, well, it's either my way or the highway. And I'm sure they're not going to give you that answer, but I'm looking for just the underlying reading between the lines. And you might say, well, Mr. Hino, do you have your kids orally answer these questions, write it on paper? I have them write it on paper, but we'll also discuss them out loud. So I get the written part, because man, if my kids can't write out stuff, and they don't want to take the time to write their thoughts out, I'm not sure if I want them on my team. But then I also, because I know when we go to competitions, they're going to have to present, what's coming out of their head, what are their thoughts. I want them to also be able to present that to me. What was your answer for, the first question about how you represent our school? And so I get to see how that student reacts under pressure, where they're having to answer these questions in front of everybody. And so I'm getting a lot of information in just a half an hour. That's all my tryouts are. I have a robot programming piece for 15 minutes, and then a question and answer for the other 15. And by then, I should have a good idea who is built for this team and who maybe should wait until they have figured things out, have a good head on their shoulders. Maybe some students just need to wait a year, depending on your school situation and the grade levels and the ages. I take everything into account. I also look at, I'd sure love the student to be here this year, so next year they have all of that, experience. I might think, oh, this student's only here for this year. Should we give them a shot? So a lot of things do play into my decisions. It's not just everything that's on paper and their robot programming. I will take a look at variables like their age and how long, will they be with me at the school. And obviously they can choose to leave or something might happen. But in a perfect world where you can maybe predict that they will be here, another year, you can make those kind of decisions. So if you guys are doing tryouts, I hope this video was helpful and maybe gives you a clear picture of what you're looking for, for your tryouts. But I would definitely say, before you, figure out what you're going to ask your students, figure out what you want as a coach. That will drive your questions on what you ask your students, okay? All right, guys, hopefully you are prepping up, getting ready for this season of Unearthed. If you hit that subscribe button and that like button, because I'm going to keep throwing you guys these videos all season long, okay? All right, guys, I am Mr. Hino from Mr. Hino's Lego Robotics. I'm out.
He's out.
He's out.
We got this.
We got this.
We got this, guys.
Hey guys, Mr. Hino here. Thank you so much for watching. And if you love robotics, don't forget to check out these videos also, because they're cool. Okay guys, take care.